Hello and thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sasha Reade. If you've not seen me before, I've got a fun short tutorial for you tonight. I wanted a quick one that we could just play with, that hopefully you've got something in your stash that will match what I've got, so you can create as well. So I'm just getting started with a die that's kind of an intricate die. It's a detailed small die. Any die will do if it's got some kind of design to it. So any kind of pattern die, a flower, a square like this, a circle, a swirly, whatever you've got in your stash, dig it out. We're going to just create a background. So we're going to go with a tone on tone effect background. So I've got my card base here, which is the front panel that I would use. And I've got my standard size UK card, which is just an A4 sheet cut in half. And I'm just folding that. And so you can see here, my panel is exactly the same size as that card base. So the panel I will trim down later in the video, as you'll see, but for now I'm getting started with a full size one, just to kind of have a play. First I started by cutting out a whole bunch of die cuts of the die I wanted to use, and then I kind of just played around with them and see what would work, what wouldn't work, what kind of pattern I wanted to go for. Just have a play with what you've got in your stash and see what will work on your card, what might not work. In the end, I wanted to go for a diagonal kind of placement, so I decided I wanted to go for a central starting point, because I'm notorious for making wonky front cards when I kind of go freestyle. So I'm marking out the center point. This is a Tim Holtz ruler, and it is fantastic because the 0 is in the center of the ruler. So you just got to make sure the left and the right side look even, and then you know it's centralized. So that's all I'm doing on the top and the bottom. I'm going to draw a line, which I will erase. You'll see that in a second. But if you've got a pencil to hand, that's always handy to have in your craft room, because then you can erase it if you want to. So I've drawn that line down the center, and then realized I wanted to do one on the center and the other way, because I wanted to make sure that these little kind of diamonds started from somewhere. And I didn't want to start in the top left corner, which is what I would normally do. And then it goes all wonky and looks kind of crooked to the eye. So I thought I would start in the middle with my little square, and I turned it to the side so it would look like a diamond. And then I'm kind of just eyeballing it from here. So I'm gluing the pieces down, and I'm leaving just a smidge between each piece. So I've got a nice little kind of border, in a sense, between each of the die cuts, not dies. So I'm just going ahead and gluing them all down, and I do put too much glue on because I have the glue on all the sides when I don't really need to, but I was just in the zone and I wanted a nice easy card. This took me no time at all to do. The most time consuming bit was probably the die cutting. So I'm going ahead and trimming off the sides now, and then I decide I'm going to make my card panel a little bit smaller than my actual card. So I'm trimming it down and just kind of eyeballing it to get where I want to go. Then the bits I've trimmed off, I'm using for all the corners and the pieces that are missing, so I'm not having to use extra die cuts. Now, if you can hear my children in the background, they're waiting for me to go and play Mario Brothers. It's Saturday night and we're about to have family games night, so I'm just doing my voiceover real quick and then going in and joining them. So I'm in the kitchen, they're in the living room. We're gonna have a great time. But I just thought if you could hear them, that's what's going on. Right, so this is my big box of scraps. You've seen this. I am burning this one right out. You're probably sick to death of these little strips. But I've got these strips that have sat on my desk. I've made these cards with my explosion powders. Oh yes, it's Saturday night, so I started drinking my wine. And I did get white wine, just so you know, because you have seen, if you've watched my videos, my older videos, I did have a wine accident with my red wine. So I've got my white wine. I wanted to show you it's white wine on Saturday night. But I'm going ahead and I'm going to glue my little explosion powder background. If you check out my channel, I've got a few videos using these explosion powders. Great way to make a quick background. They are sold out on Craft Stash, unfortunately, but keep watching. They might come available again. So I've glued that right down the center of my top panel, and I'm making sure to do this before I go ahead and stick it to my card base. Now I've got my red tape. This is like super glue in tape form. Anytime you see anything that says red tape, that is basically super glue tape form. So it's really, really strong. It's great for holding down ribbon. So I've gone ahead and stuck that on the back of my card so I could stick that little bit of ribbon. And then I'm going to tie my bow on and cheat. So it looks like I've tied a bow with the same ribbon, but I'm just tying the bow with the ribbon on top. Now, There is a bit of an oopsie. One side is angled and one side is flat, but you'll see, well, you won't see, but off camera after I finish the card, I did fix that up and make it look a bit nicer. Now I'm going ahead and adding on my double-sided tape. This is cheapo tape from Craft Stash. I'll link it down below. I'll try and link everything I can down below, the dies and everything I'm using. But honestly, look through your stash and see what you've got. This is a Natasha foot trick where you go ahead and lift one corner of each of your sides of your tape, and then you line it up and pull it out. And then that way you get a nice central lined up card front panel. I've got my Alina's double-sided foam tape, which fits these little strips perfectly. These are the little strips from Tailored Expressions. They are really useful little strips to use. I'll try and link them down below as well. I've got my Nuvo drops in the gold, and that's just going to finish off my card. I could have done a bit more, but I loved how simple and quick and easy this card came together. So I hope you enjoyed Saturday Night Crafting with me. It was a quick one and an easy one, but I hope it inspires you to get out your dies, get out your supplies, use up your design pattern paper for that little strip in the middle, use whatever you've got to hand, and just get crafty. I'll see you again hopefully soon this week. Happy crafting and enjoy your Saturday night. Bye.